Hello, everyone. Welcome to Full Force Combat. We are hot off the heels of Oktagon 58, an incredible event. And who better to be joining us for this debrief than Bryan Lacey? How are you feeling after that incredible weekend?
Broken, but still buzzing from it all, mate. It was, every time I go on Instagram, there's different photos or videos from different perspectives, and I'm getting so many messages. I'm seeing fighters get so much love as well. I was speaking to Jon Serdu today, and everyone's going crazy for him. Shem Rock has got like 1,000 DMs in his inbox. So yeah, it still can't believe it happened, mate, and can't believe just how special it was.
And just, I mean, we'll touch on the main event in a minute, but the atmosphere. I mean, I don't know if I've ever been at an event that loud, and I'm talking all sport. It was crazy.
This is what I want to, because again, I want to hear from you guys. That was your first Octagon away, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I want to know, because again, I tell people about it, and I'm this guy who's shouting about it all the time, and I get to go to these events. And what I love is when people like you come to an event for the first time and you realize how different it is, or just that the atmosphere is different to other MMA events. And that is what I think I know it's what's made it so big in the Czech Republic. I know it's what's made it so big in Slovakia. I know it is what has made it so hot in Germany as well. So yeah, from my side, it's just like, what was your experience like? What did you feel? And you've been to a lot of MMA events, I've take it. And how did this match up?
I mean, to be honest, I am relatively new to actually going to MMA events, because I'm from Devon, so there's not too much going on around here. So my first one was a Cage Warriors event in London, and that was at the Indigo, and it's obviously that's a completely different vibe. I've been to a lot of football matches and stuff like that, and wrestling events, and even when I went, to be honest, I actually think it was louder than when I went to watch AEW in Wembley, and that was a sold out Wembley Stadium for that event, and it's maybe a testament to these Czech fans, because they especially the last two fights, it was another level, wasn't it? It was incredible.
It was mad.
What is that day like? What is that day like for you as the commentator? And how did your day look? Sort of, when did you get in, and what sort of things do you have to do?
Yeah, so I'll be honest, this one felt different to other ones. There was a different buzz and vibe, and the size of it. Like, I'd spent some time in the city beforehand, and everyone was talking about it. Like, there was a genuine, it felt like the city was thinking about this event. And then when you got to the arena, and we stayed in a hotel where literally we could go down a back set of staircases and walk in. So on the day of the event, I had breakfast. I then took my family into the empty arena. So my wife and my daughter had the whole stadium to ourselves. There was a few crew kicking around, but we got to walk. So we went and sat right at the back to look down on it. Then we went backstage. I showed them where the fighters would walk out. So for me, that was pretty special to be able to share that, but also just to anticipate what that was going to look like with the crowding. Because one of the things we do on fight day is have the commentary meeting, and we sit and we talk with all the commentators from Germany, Czech Republic, and England, me and Luke, obviously. And one of the questions that, and it's a fair one because I'd never been in the stadium before, but Luke had, he was like, because the energy's so good when it's in an arena that's got a roof. Like, you think that's loud as well. And it was, I couldn't believe how loud it was. But you go to the O2 and it's 22,000 fans with a ceiling on it, and the sound's got nowhere to escape. So we were kind of asking the question, would the atmosphere be different? But there was a moment, it wasn't even, maybe two fights in, and there was a massive pop from the crowd. And you just kind of knew this was just going to get louder and louder. So the day for me was a little different. I had my family there. I don't usually have my family there. They came for this one because it was special. Took some time to make sure that I soaked up the arena, had a little walk around, did my notes. And then I went to try and have a lay down in the afternoon. I was like, I'll try and get an hour sleep. And I just laid there so excited that I couldn't sleep. So I was like, this is ridiculous. So I just watched some more fights and then went and did the gig, mate. It was a wonderful day.
And we'll touch on that main event now. I mean, Karlos Vemola, he did it. He came, he got that win. He got that win back. He left one glove in the octagon, in the cage, and gave one to Attila Vey, asking for the trilogy. I mean, what a perfect ending to a great night.
Yeah, it was. And again, I said this in my little build up as far as Vemola is the type of person he shines under pressure. Like the only time I've seen him truly crack was Oktagon 15, which was when they beat him before. I mean, he's been beaten since that, but it was the moment. It definitely was the moment. He fought different to how he had done before, whereas the true Karlos Vemola came out for this one. Attila looked in fantastic shape, and if you went round the arena, most people were picking Vey. They thought, if Karlos can't get him down, and he had no chance last time, then it's going to be Vey all day long. But Vemola steamrolled him. There was a point where it wasn't even halfway through the first round, and I saw Attila look at the clock as if it was round 5, and you're trying to see how long's left. But Vemola was stuck to him like glue. Got the finish. There's a great video. I always love this when you see someone practicing the finish backstage, the head and arm choke, and he was drilling that with his jiu-jitsu coach. Finished it in the same way. And then he gave one to Andre Novotny, so he didn't leave it on the cage, and he gave one to Attila Vey, and he said, if you want to put these gloves back together, if you two decide that you want to put these gloves back together, then I will come out of retirement. So he's made it a choice between Pavel and Andre and Attila Vey. So he's even the king of making the promo at the end, because now it's a beautiful thing to pass the glove to his opponent as he goes out, then to give it to Andre and Pavel. But it has to happen. Like, I'd never even thought that it would be a possibility that past this we would see both of them want to do it. But I know for a fact Attila wants it. I know that for sure. There's no way he's happy with how that being his last appearance in the cage with all he's achieved. And Vemola even teasing it means that he would be down as well. So same time, let's do it same time next year, right? Yeah. Let's just same arena, same time. And I don't know what you'd call it. I think Pavel put something out because we had the fight of the century, which was Oktagon 15. And this was billed the rematch of the century. So if you've got any suggestions for how the hell we frame this to finish it off, but yeah, I'd love to see it.
Dance, wouldn't it? For
it's got to be something. It's got to be something to do with the end, because it should be the perfect end. This is the whoever takes the best of 3 deserves it.
I know Vemola, he's meant to be retiring and that, but I when I saw him, this was my first experience seeing him, and I mean, when he walked out, I can't remember the name of the guy. He walked out during a fight and just did a lap of honor. And I was like, this guy loves it.
It was his teammate. It was Petrashek fighting Wojciechowski. And it was crazy because I thought a fight had kicked off, because I was commentating and I turned around and the crowd were going crazy, and it's the weirdest thing because he loves to do that. You will see him out in the cage, in the arena, cage side, sometimes just 3 fights before he's supposed to be out there fighting. For some reason, and I know a lot of fighters just shut themselves off and they don't want to be out there yet. He comes, and I've seen him watch a number of fights, just chill, chat to people, walk around, disappear back off, get his hands wrapped, stick the Terminator thing on, come out and smash somebody. So he's totally unique in everything he does. And that reception that the Czech crowd gave him before the fight and then during and after was testament to everything he's given to those Czech fans.
And then the co-main event as well, with Kozma versus Serdu. I mean, the perfect punch from Serdu to silence the crowd. I didn't see it. No, I don't think anyone saw it on the first go. And you needed that slow down replay just to see what caught Kozma, because
it wasn't big. It wasn't. Yeah, I agree. Like, I was commentating, and I had to say, what was it? What hit him? And it was just a jab. And it was the perfectly timed jab. And Kozma was coming forwards. Serdu was going back, but he connected so sweetly, and then finished him with the hammer fist. And again, he again wasn't happy with how that looked on the camera, but he just has to keep going till the ref stops it. But it was such an impressive performance against David Kozma. Like, he is a crazy, legend in the Czech Republic. He's had, and this is my only worry, he's had so many wars. I've never seen him dropped with something like that. That was my only worry, and that is my only worry watching or thinking about fights going forward, because he hasn't got a style where he doesn't get hit. And to see him get, and Serdu does hit hard, but to see him get clipped like that and to go down like that for me, especially after a 6-month break, for me says maybe you need to take a bit of time out, like a real chunk of time out, and then if the chin is still there, come back. But He will always be a legend. Now we've got the Hall of Fame. I was able to say he's a guaranteed future Hall of Famer because of everything he's done in the Czech Republic and holding the title for so long. But that was sad to see him fall that way. But my God, to see Serdu come through that and to now face Gogoladze for the title, whenever that will be, probably the end of the year, I'm guessing. But that's set up a beautiful fight.
Yeah, and Gogoladze, that was a good performance, a split decision, but a really strong performance. I spoke to him after the fight, and he was bang up for it. He wants that title fight. Obviously, I know it's been made, but he really wants that one now. So that has everything to be a really close and exciting fight.
And stylistically, it's a perfect fan fight. Like, neither of those guys really go for takedowns. They love to strike. You saw even Gogoladze, and Apollo he's really good. Like, he is so good everywhere, and he can make you look terrible. And sometimes the fight depends on how good the fight is, depends on how he performs or what attitude he's got coming in. But Gogoladze matched him, wasn't scared of his strikes. Counter striking was so good. He was really good. Like, and for me, it set up a perfect welterweight, title fight. Now he said something in the cage because again, I brought them together, and I thought it was going to be all friendly. I thought it was going to be, perfectly respectful. Gogoladze came and said, "Congratulations," and Serdu is so nice. He went, "Thank you, bro." And then Gogoladze just switched, and he went, "You're fake, and I will destroy you." And I was like, where did that? And even Serdu was like, where did that come from? Because it was literally from "Congratulations, brother," and then straight to "You're fake, and I will destroy you." And that won't have made Serdu happy. He won't like stuff like that. And so I think we'll have a little bit of tension going into this one. Two different personalities. Serdu has been embraced by the fans, whereas Gogoladze is, his fighting style. He's still to get a finish in Oktagon. He's got 3 wins, but still to get a finish. But he hasn't been taken. The fans haven't, embraced him like they have Serdu. So it's phenomenal. Great fight.
And it's one for them for Serdu, where if you're gonna, announce yourself to fans, I know he's a big name in Oktagon, but that's how you do it with that sort of spectacular finish, because it puts itself in all the highlight reels. Whereas if Gogoladze, a split decision, it's not as glamorous. So it makes more sense that Serdu is going to be the guy.
Yeah, but Serdu, this is a fact that I didn't. You kind of forget just how durable Gogoladze is. He's only been finished once, and that was due to injury. That's when he in the Contender Series, when he dislocated his shoulder. So he's never been stopped. And that makes him hard to beat. You saw it with the Etabar fight, Siviec as well when he fought him. Siviec just didn't have anything for him, and Siviec is a finisher, which is how he usually gets his victories, and he just couldn't get even close to something that would finish him. And the same with Apollo. Apollo had a couple of moments, but nothing where you were close, and he needed the finish in the 3rd round. We knew that with the open scoring. So it's an interesting one because Gogoladze is so tough and Serdu is so dangerous that it's great. It's great. I couldn't pick it. If you were to ask me now who will walk away with that belt, I genuinely couldn't tell you who would be the favorite right now.
And we will move on to the man that probably, if you're listening to Full Force Combat, it's going to be the person everyone wants to speak about, Shem Rock. I mean, he just showed levels in that fight, didn't he, against Pacornia?
He sliced through him. That back take was just glorious, and it was perfectly planned. Again, there's a video of him prepping for Pacornia, and I think he's working with Paddy, and he's slipping under the shots and going straight to the back. As soon as he was there, that is the worst spot you can be in with Shem Rock, and you got to really fight hard to not let him get there because he's so good at finding a route to the back. But the slickness in which he just went up and under and then was attached to him, it was only a matter of time, and he had so much time to work. So it was amazing. The atmosphere when he walked out and everyone just booing, and his smile as he came forward was equally as impressive as the cheers, that people like Vemola and Vega. It was an absolute boiling pit of just energy and atmosphere, but he handled it. And that's the thing. Some fighters don't handle those moments, whereas Shem Rock is born for those moments. I've said it time and time again. Whether you put a camera or a microphone in his face, he makes moments. Whether you put him in the cage against an opponent, he makes moments. And then when he's given a moment like that, he rises to it. So it was, yeah, as perfect as a performance as you could wish for.
And you talk about him rising to the moments. I mean, that there was an awkward moment at sort of the end of the fight where someone, I forgot his name, to be honest.
Koga, Max Koga.
Koga's come in and turned down a fight, and then he still managed to pivot on it. He still managed to pivot on it. I mean, what was that like in the moment when that happened?
Oh, it was because it's kind of annoying because it went from English to English, German back to English. So I didn't understand everything he said, but as soon as I heard him say Anton, and I know there's history there, Anton Rakic. So I was like, he's not taking it. And even Shem was saying to me, he's not going to take it. He won't take it. That was before he even said, you know, what he said about Anton Rakic. So yeah, I was gutted because I thought that's as he came in, I thought that's it set. And it's a great fight because Koga is a mega star in Frankfurt. It is hard to describe. Like Ekelin is as big as Koga. They're two. When you see them in the city, or when you see the effects they have and the star quality and just they are the reasons that this is selling out, and it's almost sold out already. 48,000 tickets gone already for the October 12th, and they've only announced Jungwirth versus Ekelin, which again is for the King of Germany. So there's so much on that. Then they've announced Koga and I think one or two others, but they hadn't announced an opponent. And as soon as they announced Koga and it official with Christian, the ticket sales just went absolutely crazy. Like, to be where we are now is insane. But I thought him and Shem, that is just a perfect fight. But we haven't got it. And I was gutted for Shem as well, because I think he gave that Koga kind of stole his moment to make his promo. So yeah, we'll see. But what I have said, and I love Anton Rakic, he's such a nice guy, but he is injury prone. So you look at it, he was supposed to fight Magard. That never happened. He got injured in that. He was supposed to fight Cartwright. That never happened. Never got to the fight. So he's potentially ready for this one, but will he make it to it? And if he doesn't, I reckon there's somebody in the wings that we could definitely get a signature from to make that fight.
I mean, he is one hell of a promo, isn't he, Shem? I mean, I say I spoke to him after the fight. I think I spoke to him when he spoke to the camera, because he is drawn to it. It's like he's a bit like a wrestler in there in terms of how he speaks. And then
you have the right to remain silent. Anything you do and say can be used you again in the motherfucking octagon. It was gold. That's a promo. That's
a dream line. Yeah.
Like when he was saying, because I'm holding the mic and I was like, and when he switched it to it can be used against you in the motherfucking octagon, I was like, that's genius. Like that is, and I sent him a message afterwards. He went, just off the cuff, Bri, just off the cuff. I was like, fucking hell. But he's made for this. He's made for it. So I know he's called out a few others. He's Dershka, Topalaya, and one other. I know, and Koga. So I think he's called and Nafuka. So he's called all of those Germans out to try and get on this Germany card. He has to be on that card. He has to be on that card. He's earned it, and hopefully we get one of those.
And then just quickly on sort of the UK ambitions. I mean, surely with Shem Rock, in that position, Liverpool's got to be a target for Octagon, because I mean he can sell out a stadium in there quite soon, or at least an arena in there for sure.
We need to get and it is the M&S Bank, isn't it? That's the one in Liverpool. So they don't allow MMA. So we need to go and speak to them. They banned MMA for something that happened at one of the events there before. So we need to talk to them. We need to show them what we do and what we do differently, like you guys have seen, like the atmosphere, the energy, just the different vibe that we create. And then we need to get Shem Rock into a stadium in Liverpool, because it was great having him in Manchester, or supposed to be in Manchester. It was great having him in Birmingham, but it's too far away from both Manchester and Liverpool. So yeah, it would be ideal if we could get something set and sorted for a proper venue in Liverpool. And the only one I can think of would be the M&S that would work. So yeah, unless somebody builds one very quickly, we'll have to just try and negotiate with those guys.
And I mean, it wasn't unfortunately a 2-for-2 for the English fighters. Bryan Lacey did lose to Legursky, but it was an absolutely fantastic performance from Legursky. Sort of just completely neutralized him after that first round.
He is, and I said it, he's like one of the most complete fighters that I've ever called. Like, there's very few holes in his game. He's world class. And I think Akon just came out too intent on hurting him early. Like, he fought with anger. And again, it's kind of like Jedi cliche, like you should fight with no emotions. But he was, if you watch his face as he's throwing punches, he's grimacing and he's throwing everything into it. And Legursky was really good at getting it to the mat and just tiring him, taking some of that energy, making him use strength, not technique. And he'll learn from it. I spoke to him straight after the fight, and he was genuinely, well, obviously upset, but he's you know, he is star quality. He is world class as well, and he will learn from it. And if you want to take any lessons, and this is what I said to him, like, look to your right. One of his main sparring partners is Leon Edwards. You look at that loss that he had and where he is now. And that's what it's all about, is how people react to these losses. Losses are not what define you. It is your reaction to them and how you move on from them. So I'm excited to see what's next for Akon.
And the fairy tale rolled on for Duque. I mean, again, just another excellent performance against one of the hottest prospects in probably the world in MMA. And he just bit down on the gum shield and got that decision win.
Again, it was one of these fights where in the first round, when you saw Makayev and how loose he was, the way he moves, just the different range of weapons that he brings to the table. And it looked, I was like, okay, Duque could be in real trouble here. And he has this magical way of, and again, pressure is a big thing with him. He's not scared. He will step into the fire, and he put a lot of pressure on Makayev. And I don't think Makayev has ever been smothered or forced to work like he had against Duque. And there was a point in the fight where like Makayev wasn't doing much, and Duque was having the first and the last word. And I was watching this, and he's a 37-year-old shipbuilder from Las Palmas and battering the beast from Austria. It's the Cinderella Man story. It's Rocky. It's, you know, it's the working man's champ out there doing miracles. And his motivation, I said it before, is so different from everyone else. He's like at the end of his career, but he has now got this chance at the end of it all to change his family's life, to change his life. And I know for a fact in Gran Canaria, he's become like this celebrity, and they're all behind him. His work gave him 3 months off. Once he won that first fight, they've said, we'll pay you, go do this. Let's do this together. So they've supported him like that. And he rose to the occasion. It's magic. He was in the room next to me, so I would see him pretty much every morning or evening or like pass, and he was so gentle and excited and happy. There was no sense of nerves. And then he put on a performance like that has guaranteed him 80,000 euros. That's guaranteed him that. So that's, you know, 3 times his salary for what he does already. And he's now stepping in and will potentially fight the winner of, he will fight the winner of Torres and Paradisa next.
And is it now a case of sort of just how far can he go? Because this was the big stumbling block that a lot of people thought Makayev was going to just outclass him, but he's come up here and now it's like, well, he can beat anyone, can't he?
He could beat anyone. Like the Grabinski, and Grabinski is so good, and he's a pro fighter. He trains at UFD gym, and he is so good. He was the welterweight champ and lightweight champ for German promotions. We saw him, you know, step into the Game Changer last year, and he was phenomenal. So when he beat him, I was kind of like, I was impressed. Surprised, actually, more than impressed. But when he beat Makayev, I was genuinely impressed with how he did it, and it's made me ask the question: his style, his belief, his motivation against any of those fighters now is a factor, and he could, and why not? This is what sport is about, right? These amazing stories where the underdog gets their chance and takes it when everything is against them, including the odds. So we shall wait, we shall see. But I'm on board. It's beautiful.
And just to touch on any of the other fights, obviously, Korkmaz beat Amir Khan. He hit that sort of pile driver on him.
Power bomb. He WWE'd it for you, mate.
Yeah.
He WWE'd it for you. And actually, Amir Khan, he was looking good. Like he wasn't.
Yeah.
When you looked at the difference between him, that and the Makayev fight, it was 1 round apiece going into the 3rd round, and it could have been 2 rounds to him going in. If you watch the fight back, that 2nd round was close. It wasn't like Korkmaz took stormed through it, but Korkmaz was excellent in that 3rd round. Like he caused some damage, forced him in, went for that takedown, and again he did the right thing. He used his hips to push the guy away so that he didn't pile drive him, so it wasn't illegal. So the technique is phenomenal. Amir Khan lands on his shoulder. We don't know that while it's happening, and then Korkmaz finishes it with 1 hand. So it was insane. Mazouk versus Zavada, that middleweight contest on the main card, the knockout against David Zavada, it was crazy. And just to see him, just to see him finish a guy that is fought in all the big promotions, and for Mazouk, just this, he's a shepherd. That's what the hat and everything is. He's a farmer. He's a farmer, and he just happens to have one of the hardest punches in the game. So yeah, it was insane. The whole even talking about it now, I'm buzzing. I want to watch it again, and it was great.
I was glad we missed that Mazouk one, because that's why it escaped my head, because we missed that one. We was waiting for everyone to stop interviewing Shem Rock. So
that's right, because he was right after Shem. Yeah, but you watch it back. Go watch it back. I'm sure that it's the way he came out.
Like leaned him up.
But again, it's like, but he doesn't hold anything back from all his punches. Like he could have punched himself out, but he just committed to it. He's like, I'm gonna kill this guy. I'm just gonna absolutely destroy him with these shots. And Serdus spars with Mazouk sometimes at Ankos in Poland, and I was talking to him, and I was like, does he hit a lot harder than other people? And he just went, bro. He was like, bro, like there's a thing where you kind of, when you're doing the technique, or you're just doing the combinations where you get to do backwards and forwards, and Mazouk even going half power, it's like somebody hitting you full power. It's a different touch, and probably that farmer strength. I don't know what it is, but for him to get that win and the bonus as well, he got the 5K bonus as well for that. So yeah, very cool.
We'll go further ahead before we look at what's next, because it does whet the appetite for Frankfurt. Or you say 48,000 people. I mean, we were speaking to Scott, the press officer, and he said it's going to be like this on steroids when we go to Frankfurt. So, I mean, are you already excited for that, having witnessed what happened Saturday?
It was a mad thing to look around and go, this is half the size. That's it. And there was and again, because I'm very good friends with the guy who looks after Germany, and we were just taking a moment, we were looking around, and I was asking questions as well, because it's interesting, because like it all fascinates me. The whole event fascinates me. Like how you set up for a stadium is so different from an arena. How you build it, and I'm sure you've seen all the videos of the football pitch getting taken up, the whole structure for the cage and the lighting rig going in, and then to think about it on a scale that will be twice that size. It's insane. And also the German fans, I feel like it's going to be a landmark event for them and a turning point, because they've grown into Oktagon fans. As in, when we first went, the fest hall was kind of quiet and it kind of felt a little bit footballish. There was definitely a bit more of a intense atmosphere. But as we've gone on and as the events have gone, it's started to turn into that festival. If you watch the last Fest Hall event with Ekelin and so many, big fights, and even when Koga walked out and Putz walked out, the atmosphere with the crowd, it was a party. So they've kind of embraced what we do and how we do it. So I'm excited to see the German fans go absolutely nuts for the biggest event that they have ever had in Germany. And yeah, I get to see it, which is magic.
And we'll jump on to what's next. Lima versus Magard, the summer party in Bratislava. I mean, not going to be as big in terms of stadium, but as I say, the name's in the clues in the name. It is going to be a party in Bratislava. It's probably, you know, another great card.
Yeah, it's oh, you've cut out a little bit there. There we go. We're back. We've got so it literally is a party. So they've kitted out the arena in a way that makes it like a beach party. There'll be lots of different things going on, lots of entertainment. They've got a thing of, if you turn up in like beach wear, there's going to be some prizes and some memorabilia to be given out. And then you've got a great fight card. You've got Lima versus Magard 2. They don't like each other, and they're so good, both of them. And Magard, for me, what he did with Cartwright just solidified and reminded me. I'm almost embarrassed that I forgot how good Jonas Magard is, because he is a problem, and he's huge for bantamweight. Then you've got the Tip Sport Game Changer fights under there, and not well. I don't know if many people recognize this, but Ronnie Paradiso is from not Bratislava, from Slovakia. He's now the lightweight champion. He has not fought in Slovakia for 5 years. Oktagon 14, I believe it was. That's when he lost to Legursky. So this is a homecoming for him. This is the champ coming home with the belt. I mean, we've had legends from like Attila Vey, Ivan Buchinger, people like that already represent Slovakia and get the belt in Oktagon. But Paradiso has become a star away from his home, and now he's bringing the belt back, and he's also fighting in this Game Changer tournament. So it's going to be a smaller event, I think 7,000, but I reckon it is going to be a crazy party, like literally a party with some fights going on as well. So yeah, I'm going to get a special, get my sun cream on, get ready, maybe a couple of margaritas beforehand, and yeah, let's do it.
And just to sum up, to round this off, we'll sum up this this Oktagon event, Oktagon 58, in terms of what it means for the company and what it means for yourself as well.
For me, it's it was one of the proudest moments of my career, without a doubt. One of the most exciting, and it flew by. Like, that was another thing. I enjoyed every second of it. I enjoyed looking around and seeing the faces of the crew and the staff, and Andre and Pavel have these moments where they were taking it in as well, from, you know, the helicopters flying over the top to you know, the magic moment of Vemola actually doing it in front of his home fans and winning that title, regaining the title. But for the company, I think it's special because it was in the Czech Republic, and I feel like they deserved to have the first stadium. I feel like the Czech and the Slovak fans are the reason we are so big and we are so different, and we should always honor that. They're the shoulders we stand on. So it was great that they got to have the first one. But I feel like this stadium, and already with the amount of tickets we've sold for the next one, as far as where the company are, I think you can't argue we are the biggest promotion in Europe. We are. Mm-hmm. We are doing bigger venues. We're doing them more consistently, and we're doing ridiculous size venues. And on top of that, we're putting, you know, really great fights, good promo. We're investing in the fighters and telling the stories like no other. There's, you know, outside the UFC, there's nobody else really helping shine a light on the fighters. And that's why, for me as well, those arenas, I put one of my posts up, and it was like, these are the venues, these are the moments, this is the setting that these gladiators should have. What they do is crazy. What they give us, and what we don't see, like the moments backstage when I was with Akon straight after his fight, people didn't see that. People don't see the sacrifice. People don't see the missing weddings, parties, you know, not going out with their mates, dedicating everything to this life. So those moments, those walkouts, those crowds, those atmospheres are what they deserve. And that's what we do. That's what we do better than anybody else. We build those moments. We create a bond between the fans and the fighters like no other. And this is just the start. It feels like everyone's looking at it and go, oh, we're less than 8 years in, and this is where we are now. And I think stadiums will be regular. I feel like it's going to be very easy to move to maybe 3 or 4 a year, depending on which territories. But these nights, these moments will keep building, that will keep growing. I'm even seeing like fighters like Matt Muradov sign with Oktagon and say there was nowhere else I want to be. seeing fighters in Germany. I've seen the messages from fighters in Germany saying, "How do I get signed to this promotion?" So yeah, for the company, it's a landmark moment, but I feel like it's the first of many.
Brilliant, perfectly rounded up. Thank you for joining us, Bryan. I mean, we'll hope to speak to you. Possibly, we're hoping to be at the Frankfurt one, so potentially
you have to be. Come on. You
it's
have
got
to
be.
be. Come on.
Straight away he was saying we've got to do Frankfurt. He was debating it. He was like, yeah, I've got to. So potentially we will be there, and that I cannot wait if that's the case.
Your content was great as well, so keep it coming, man. I was impressed, very impressed with what you're doing, and you can tell you guys are passionate about it, and that's something as well that shines through. I think the fighters appreciate it, and it shows in your content. So yeah, well done.
Brilliant.